is Dr. Hugh Len. He was into Ho'oponopono, and what he did is he did this experiment, or what he did is he went to a mental hospital, and there were a whole bunch of people there that were literally declared mentally insane. The vibe of this place in Hawaii was that there were people that were like worried for their life that worked there. There were some patients that had to be sedated because they were so like violent. And there was just a real not good energy there around the vibe of this place. People didn't want to work there. They had a high turnover rate. Basically what happened is Dr. Hugh Len comes in, and what he does is he works on the process of Ho'oponopono. And what he does is over the course of a few years, many of the people that are there that are labeled mentally insane, some of their cases got dramatically better. Some of them actually went home. The lesser cases actually went home and were deemed like safe to go back into public. There was less of a turnover rate, like everything switched in this place. Now, the cool thing about this 4-step simple process is that he never actually psychoanalyzed and worked with the people. What he did is he worked on their files. So what he did is he had these people's files, and what he did is he cleaned, by looking at these people's files, the parts of him that he was seeing in them. So what he did is these 4 simple statements are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. These are 4 simple statements that in Hawaii, it was traditionally used because families were so close that anytime there was quarrels between families, they would do this process with each other. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now, I'm sorry is the first one. I'm sorry is simple in the sense that what you're doing is you're taking ownership of it. Instead of blaming, I'm sorry means I am aware of this energy that is inside of my field. We are all connected to the divine consciousness of God, so it's like your conversation with the divine. If I am perceiving of this, I am sorry. Even if you're like, well, I didn't do all this stuff to me, or I didn't do all this stuff to this other person, why would I be sorry for what they did? But if you are even perceiving of it, I'm sorry. I'm taking responsibility for this. I'm choosing not to carry this around any longer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. For they know not what they do. For I was not aware in the moment. Please forgive me. It's your conversation with the divine. I love you. This is who you really are, is love. And this is your conversation with God, with the divine. And thank you, which is the divine gratitude that you put into the process. So what this man did, Dr. Hugh Len, is he worked on their files. And then that was hard for me to believe that he never talked to the people or anything, so I did some more research on it. And what he did is he worked on their files, and he would walk around and dialogue and interact with the people. But he wouldn't psychoanalyze them and say, this is from your family lineage and your trauma, and they're like, great, now I'm mentally stable. It wasn't like that. It was more like he was working with them. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. He was changing his image of them, which then cleaned out his field, which then his perception, which gets into a trippy thing about reality. Why? Right? What is reality? Because because part of the teaching of this is that there's 11 to 15 million bits of information that are in the field at any given moment. But we can only perceive of about 100 bits per second of information. So there's all this data everywhere, but we only perceive what is active inside of our field. So if we have inside of our field resentment or anger or blame, well, guess what we're going to bump up against when we go out in public? Exactly. It's literally a mirror. It's literally, reality is just mirroring back what energy is inside of our field. The 100 bits per second of information out of 11 to 15 million bits that we're going to perceive of whatever is active. So this process of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, is a way for you to connect to that part of you that does feel maybe blame, maybe naive, maybe you judge yourself. And what you do is you're able to start giving yourself permission to feel and to accept that part of you. Now, what's interesting about forgiveness is something else that I find very interesting is Eckhart Tolle. Any of you know Eckhart Tolle? Mm-hmm. Many of you. Eckhart Tolle talks about how at the deepest level of forgiveness, there's nothing to forgive, which is trippy because it's like, what do you mean? This person did something wrong. But the doing something wrong is a story, right? The doing something wrong, this person did something wrong. Now we can get together and say, well, Aaron, some of the things that happen in reality are really, really wrong. And we can all agree that yes, they're wrong. And we can agree to that, but at the fundamental level, the belief that it's wrong is a story that we're also projecting into it. So if you realize everyone's doing the best they can with the level of consciousness they're at, and there's acceptance of that, and that you understand that it was not the divine essence of your husband that was doing this stuff to you. It wasn't the divine aspect of it. It was the separate ego that is lost in illusion. Now, this doesn't mean that it's like, I bypass it all, and that means it's all, but what it does help you do is it helps you recognize that you are a divine being, everybody else is a divine being, and it was not the divine being and whoever did whatever wrong to you in the past that did it to you. It wasn't that divine aspect of them, it was the lost, scared aspect of them with patterns they probably learned growing up. Because maybe something that happened that they did to you happened to them. And narcissists tend to have a lot of toxic shame. Yes. And a lot of times there's a lot of toxic shame there, and they live with that energy, and the way they get through that energy is by controlling, manipulating the environment. Doesn't make it right, but understand it wasn't the divine essence of the person in their unconditional loving energy that did it. It was their fragmented ego that did it. Now, the way this makes it easier is kind of understanding that the story is what we hold on to, because we also want to be right about reality. We want to be right. This wasn't fair. I blame this person. We get like with some things, we get like a dopamine high. We get like a dopamine high from like the drama sometimes of certain things happening. You're used to a certain level of drama if you've been for 27 years in a narcissistic empath relationship. Certain level of drama that now that it's gone, it might be a part of you that's like, I miss it. Yeah, where can I recreate that? Yeah. But there's a subconscious part of ourselves that might be addicted to stories that like, see, this isn't fair, now I gotta fight for this, now. So, and then there's a big reaction, and that reaction fuels the field. So the power in what I'm sharing is that there's a deeper level of forgiveness here. Ho'oponopono is an extremely powerful modality that you can use if it resonates for you. I have YouTube videos that talk about the whole process, kind of what I just shared, but then there's like guided meditations on YouTube that I have that you just put in the background. There's also a lot of other stuff you can find online about it. However, for now, what I think would be really cool if you did, and you're kind of doing it for yourself, you're kind of doing it for us, for the group, is allow yourself to really connect with yourself in the mirror, to make eye contact with yourself, and to use these 4 simple statements of I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And as you're looking at yourself in the mirror, really allow yourself to connect to that part of you. Instead of just saying the words and be like, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Like really connect with yourself and really see if you can tap into that part of you that does feel guilty or feels responsible, exactly. And what you're taking responsibility for right now is your response, your reaction. You're taking responsibility for even your interpretation of it. Because ultimately, if we keep the story alive, we're keeping that story alive in other aspects of our life too. So it's like, that's why I remember watching it one time when Eckhart Tolle was talking about forgiveness, and he's like, at the deepest level of forgiveness, you realize there's nothing to forgive. And it triggers the shit out of people that are like, no, and that the degree of triggering is the degree to which they're still attached. It's the degree to which they don't want to let go of being right, or they haven't processed or healed something horrible that maybe happened to them. And even horrible things that happen, there is an opportunity to recognize this energy and to forgive. There are people that have forgiven for horrible things, probably way worse than a lot of what we've even been through. And I can imagine that in this group, there's things you've been through that I can't even imagine for some of you. But understand that what you can become aware of is holding space for that past version of you, and forgiving that past version of you can be the release of a new life. So now what I offer you the invitation to do is to come look into the mirror, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, and you just connect with yourself and just realize that's you, and you can make eye contact with yourself, and you can just feel whatever comes up is perfect, and you just want to look at yourself and just connect and say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you.
Let's do it a few more times. Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to really feel into it. tears come, it's fine. It's all part of the process.
I'm sorry. I forgive you.
Yeah.
I love you.